You use ChatGPT every day. You've seen its incredible power to write, to reason, to create. And if you're like me, you've had that spark of an idea. You've thought, what if I could take this incredible intelligence and build it into my own application? What if I could create my own AI-powered tool? For most people, that's where the dream ends. The idea of programming an app, especially an AI app, seems impossibly complex, reserved only for elite Silicon Valley engineers. Well, I am here to tell you that in 2025, that is no longer true. First, let's understand the core concept. You are not actually putting the entire ChatGPT model inside your app. Instead, your app will communicate with OpenAI's powerful models, which live on their servers, through something called an API, or an application programming interface. Think of the API as a secure messenger. Your app sends a message or prompt to the API. The API delivers it to the GPT-4 model. The model thinks and writes a response, and the API securely delivers that message back to your app. To use this messenger service, you need a secret password, which is called an API key. This brings us to the two absolute prerequisites that you must complete before we can do anything else. First, you need an account with OpenAI. Just go to their website openai.com and sign up. Second, once you have an account, you need to generate your secret API key. You'll go to your account dashboard, find the API key section, and click Create New Secret Key. Now, this is critically important. You will only be shown this key one time. You must immediately copy it and save it somewhere extremely secure, like a password manager. Do not ever share this key or post it publicly online. It is the key to your account, and anyone who has it can use your account and spend your money. Okay, you've got your secret key. Let's get into method 1, the no-code approach, where we will use ChatGPT itself to write the code for our app. This is a fantastic way to see how all the pieces fit together without having to write any code yourself. You're going to open a new chat with the latest model, like GPT-4, and you're going to give it a very specific, detailed prompt. For example, you could write, create a simple, single-page web application using HTML, CSS, and vanilla JavaScript. The app should have a title that says My First AI App, a text input box for a user to enter a prompt, and a button that says Generate. When the user clicks the button, the app should take the text from the input box and display a simple, hard-coded response like this is the AI's answer in a box below. All the code should be in one single HTML file. ChatGPT will then generate the complete code for you. You can copy this code, open a simple text editor on your computer like Notepad or TextEdit, paste the code in, and save the file as index. When you double-click that file, it will open in your web browser, and you will have a working, albeit very basic, user interface for your first app. This is an incredible way to bootstrap your project and get a feel for the structure. Now, for method 2, the code-based approach. We're going to build a real, working web app that actually communicates with the GPT-4 API. We'll use a simple and popular stack, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript for the front end that the user sees, and node.js with the Express framework for our backend server that will securely talk to the OpenAI API. First, let's build the backend. This is the engine of our application. You'll create a new project folder, open a terminal, and install the necessary packages, Express, the OpenAI library, and a couple of others. The most important part of our backend is securely managing our API key. We will create a special file called env where we will store our secret key. This file is kept private on our server and is never exposed to the public. Our server code will then have one main job, to listen for a request from our website, take the user's prompt from that request, securely add our secret API key, and then make the official call to the OpenAI API. We'll tell it to use the latest model, like GPT-4. When OpenAI sends back the response, our server will then send that text back to our website. With the backend built, we can now create the front end, the part the user interacts with. This will be a simple index, file. We'll add a title, a text area for the user to type their prompt, a generate button, and a special div element where the AI's response will be displayed. We'll add a little bit of CSS to make it look nice and clean. The magic of the front end happens in our JavaScript file. We'll write a small script that waits for the user to click the generate button. When they do, it will grab the text from the prompt box. Then, using a modern web feature called the Fetch API, it will send that prompt in a message to our own backend server that we just built. It will then wait for our server to send back the AI's response. Once it receives that response, our JavaScript will take that text and display it inside the response box on our web page for the user to see. And that's the complete loop. The user types a prompt on the website. The website's JavaScript sends it to our private server. Our server adds the secret key and sends it to OpenAI. OpenAI sends a response back to our server, and our server sends it back to the website to be displayed. By separating the front end and the back end, we ensure that our secret API key is never exposed in the user's browser, which is the #1 rule of building a secure AI application. Finally, a quick note on cost. Using the OpenAI API is not free. You are charged based on the number of tokens you use, which are like small pieces of words. Every prompt you send and every response you receive consumes tokens. For a small, personal project, the cost is incredibly low, often just pennies per thousand of requests. But as you build more complex applications, it's something you need to be aware of. So whether you use the no-code approach to have ChatGPT build a prototype for you or you dive in and write the code yourself, the tools to create your own AI-powered application are more accessible today than they have ever been. The only real limit is your own creativity. If this guide helped you, a like on the video would be fantastic. Subscribe for more in-depth developer guides.